Hi guys, how you doing? Before we begin, I just want to let you know that I just started a Discord server where we can just discuss pop culture and stuff. If you can want to ask me questions and like my opinions on certain movies, or I can ask you and stuff, if we can just have a civil discussion, or at least I hope it'll be civil, and it'll just be a fun place to talk, you know? And if you want to read my thoughts on movies in general that are completely unfiltered, I have a letterboxd account. Both of these things are in the description below. With that out of the way, enjoy the video.
This is a holy war. All of human history has led to this moment. If we lose, we will be the last of our kind. It will be a planet of apes, and we will become your cattle.
50 seconds of logos.
All great movies start with blurry. Blurry something. Now get ready for some reading.
How dare you imitate the Lego Batman movie?
Also, not sure whether to send the film thinking the audience needed a previously on these rebooted Apes movies summary, or the two obvious capitalization and font changes on the words Rise and Dawn.
You notice that for Rise and Dawn, but not for War? This text has the name from every movie in this trilogy. And besides, I feel like you of all people definitely need a recap of the first two films.
Trader apes, or more commonly known as tropes.
Pointing things out on the screen combined with a lame pun.
Maybe it's the 4K transfer talking, but holy ape, this opening confrontation is great. Problem is, it's the only actual ape versus human war battle in this entire war movie.
Jeremy sends something he likes cliche.
I get having someone yell reload as a military trope, but the guy with the crossbow, who has already reloaded this weapon himself several times, is asking for more arrows? I don't get this at all. And yeah, Trape shows up with more arrows, but I mean, Jesus. Have you seen all the explosions? Why is this dude on the front line still firing crossbow arrows? First one was for silence and sneak attack reasons, but now he's just needlessly wasting time on inefficient weaponry.
What do you think he should do instead? Just stop firing? Also, the sin counter going up didn't line up with the ding sound, as it went up a little too late. Watch.
Inefficient weaponry.
We lasted out a minute!
Way too many seconds of apes getting out of Caesar's way. He's the leader. We get it. We got it last movie, actually.
Even more pointing things out on the screen. Man, it feels like this one has all the cliches.
I did not start this war. The ape who did is dead.
Koba? Even after you killed him last movie, the humans somehow still decided to believe lore over Jason Clarke's character and went to war with the apes? Really?
Yes. Didn't you sin the last movie? I sinned that video a couple weeks ago, so I know you did. The apes attacked humans first, and that was all Koba's fault. Caesar also said to Malcolm that humans won't forgive, which is 100% believable. They have reason to look at these intelligent apes who attack them and assume that they are too dangerous, and so they just have to play self-defense basically.
I guess I'm okay with these movies ending in ape-human war, but blaming it all on Koba seems obtuse. You could make just as good a case that it's Caesar's fault, but then I'd have to spend 2 weeks researching and writing and pulling clips from various sources to make an explainer video that most of you wouldn't even watch.
That's fair enough, but you could at least give some sort of clue as to why it was Caesar's fault, because I don't get it. He definitely could have handled Koba better, as he didn't realize that he would never forgive humans for all the horrible things they did to him. But is that really enough to blame him for starting a war?
You letting us go?
You're waiting this long to ask this? They brought you out here, put you 2 by 2 on horses, and all that's left is to slap those horses' asses, and you're just now asking this?
Jeremy yells at the screen cliche.
Why did they say winter alone with the enemy? I'm looking around and I'm not seeing a shortage of monkey power here.
After surprisingly going the entire last movie not calling these apes monkeys, now he makes that mistake again right here. I was rooting for you, man.
Why didn't I see that he could not forgive what humans did to him?
Probably the same kind of blinders the Academy uses to continue refusing you an acting nomination for this mocap brilliance.
Seriously though, it truly is amazing how dumb the Oscars are. They nominated Mad Max Fury Road 10 times, but Furiosa didn't even get 1. I'm still upset about how unfair that was.
Shout out to the original movie via ape name is Shout Out.
Why is it a sin for these movies to shout out the original film? Isn't that a good thing? Acknowledging these films wouldn't exist without it?
Ape Prince dude drops dirt like it's unheard of. Here's where we can live, because there's dirt. And they're in the middle of a goddamn mountain forest full of fucking dirt. Yeah, they might have to move because the humans know roughly where they live. But he went way far away, grabbed some dirt, and thought it would somehow mean something.
That's sand. You know, the coarse, rough, and irritating stuff that gets everywhere. Also, remember the earlier sin about the sin counter? Yeah, it happens again.
Mean something. When did, even after catching a rope in the waterfall, Caesar still taking his time, ambling back toward his bedroom instead of just screaming bloody murder at the top of his lungs?
Did you just suggest that Caesar should scream, which I'm pretty sure would give away his position to the humans? This is why you are not in charge of the ape revolution.
No one will be seated during the Snowpiercer portion of the movie.
Sending the scene that inspired that one awesome scene in The Batman.
Well, no more monkeys jumping on that bed, I guess.
Oh, please don't tell me I'm gonna have to add another 15 sins.
After all that, the Colonel fires like a stormtrooper at Caesar because there's still 2 hours of movie to go, of course, and that's basically the only reason he misses here.
Says he misses while showing Caesar getting out of the way of those bullets.
Poor little Cornelius just lost his mother and brother, and it's now being given by his father to a stranger. If ever the Ape Society needed to introduce concepts like psychology and therapy, it's now.
He's not exactly a stranger though. Lake knew Blue Eyes, Cornelius' brother. If he's friends with him, then he can be friends with Cornelius too.
Ah, the old you thought you were going to leave on a quest without your bros joining you, only to have said bros ride up on you unexpectedly for a group hug moment cliche.
Jeremy still doesn't understand what a cliche is cliche.
I suppose I could give the movie credit for not having them stop by the Coke truck and actually pop some tabs, but come on, this Coke truck being out in the middle of the forest is about as blatant product placement as you can get in this movie.
If it was, I feel like this is terrible product placement. Like, how does seeing a Coke truck make you want to drink Coke?
God damn, the mocap work by the actor, Karen Conoval, the CGI by the visual effects artists, the writing of this scene, it all results in one of the most tender moments in any movie this year, and I'm taking a sin off for lovable old Maurice.
We cannot take her, Maurice.
And yet you do. The movie has time for this, even though it's just the ape variation of the saying you won't do something only to turn around and do it right away cliche.
You literally just removed the sin from Maurice being a compassionate character, so I'm pretty sure that's why Caesar decided to let him take her. And how exactly is that a cliche? What's next? A war happens over a misunderstanding cliche?
No.
What? Did that monkey just sign to Caesar as he's using binoculars? Is he reading the subtitles with those things?
That's a good point, but the ding sound played too early again.
Where's the
Maybe I'll have to add 15 cents for this, because this is the 3rd time I pointed it out.
Where's the Colonel?
Wait, these 3 just slipped in here without being seen? That was a pretty busy and active camp. And did they leave the little girl tied to a tree or something?
Yeah, I'm sure they could have figured out a way. And Maurice isn't with them, so it's safe to assume Nova is with him.
I feel bad for her. This little girl must think life is f***ed up. She's had to see at least 4 dead human bodies in the last 24 hours. She can't talk. Apes have kidnapped her and taken her into a snowy hellscape. Does she think this is normal? Like, everyone goes through this? Like, everyone sees Nixon before they die?
Okay. So what's the sin? The fact that a child goes through and sees some weird stuff? Is that any stranger than an 11-year-old boy discovering he's a wizard, his parents were killed by Wizard Hitler, and there's a magical school?
She's mute, but not deaf, right?
That seemed pretty quiet to me.
So Bad Ape is slick enough to sneak up without being heard, a good enough rider to outpace Caesar and his most trusted friend's soldiers, but dumb enough to just leave stupid-ass footprints leading to his own whereabouts? Movie paints this character with whatever brush it needs in the moment.
I mean, he was kind of in a hurry to hide from them. And do you really think Bad Ape is the kind of ape that would think about this?
I'm okay. I was just sitting here hoping they would add some primate pratfalls about an hour into this intense war drama that very quickly forgot how to war.
Sinning Bad Ape's antics.
Come on, movie. I mean, I get mood and such, but there's enough ape traveling montages in this movie that it might as well have been called horseback riding for the Planet of the Apes.
At least we get nice landscape shots, right? Also, I found another one.
The Apes. Hey, I swear for the next 30 minutes of the movie, they just decided to do a shot-for-shot remake of animated film The Prince of Egypt.
Shot-for-shot remake of animated film. I think you forgot a word somewhere. Also, I feel like that was the idea of this movie feeling like an homage to Moses' story. I mean, both Moses and Caesar both fight so hard to get their people to a paradise away from their oppressors, but they both die before reaching there, and despite that, they're still content that they got this far.
That's the sound of the apes working on the chain gang. Dum 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 dum.
Jeremy sings in a video cliche.
As Caesar's in-prison defiance inspires these huge rock-carrying apes to throw down and defy the man, I'm just now realizing this movie's biggest problem. It's basically The Last Castle, with apes, in the snow. Also, tacking on to the previous sin a bit, Rise worked because there'd never been anything quite like it. A real-world-based sci-fi film about genetically enhanced apes gone wrong. Dawn worked because there'd never been anything like it. A real-world-based sci-fi film about 2 species friction as their planetary dominance shifts from one to the other. War works, I guess. But it's like a lot of things. It's part Great Escape, part Cool Hand Luke, part 10 Commandments, part Hogan's Heroes, part Apocalypse Now, part Dirty Dozen. It's just not nearly as original as its two predecessors, by virtue of all the movies it steals from.
Even if this is true, there's a saying I've heard that I think applies here. Paraphrasing here, but it basically means if you can't make an original story, then at least make a good one. Because, let's be honest, most everything has been done in movies already by now in the year of our Lord 2025. But as long as it's good, most people won't care.
Torture scene guest directed by Mel Gibson.
Have you seen a Mel Gibson movie? Because this is pretty tame compared to anything crazy he does.
You're much stronger than we are.
Chef Exposition here takes a full 4 minutes to tell us about this virus's unfortunate mutation and its personal consequences. Sure, there's a bit of character work there, but anytime someone has time to fully cook and eat a meal while expositing, I'm guessing you could tighten that up.
I would argue this helps hide the fact that this is just exposition. The fact that Haymitch isn't just looking at Caesar and explaining all this info and is doing regular human things makes it feel a little more natural that this is happening and not forced. Also, guess what? I found another one!
Tighten that up.
No matter what you say, you'd eventually replace us. That's the law of nature.
Then why is this movie 2 hours and 20 minutes long?
Why is this video 15 minutes long? See? I can do that too.
No, go in. No, go.
Bad Ape accidentally himself into a secret underground entrance to the camp.
Narration.
If he's still alive in the morning, he goes to work like everyone else.
So you don't care if he lives or dies? You keep going back and forth on this shit. It's starting to piss me off. Are you breaking down their leader so they break down? Or are you just f***ing with their leader and not giving a shit what they do in response?
Earlier, Caesar started a small revolution by having the ape stop working, so torturing him and bringing down his image or just straight up killing him would both work to stop this from ever happening again.
Wouldn't this scene work better if it were Maurice instead of Caesar? Maurice is the one that gave her the doll earlier, and it would make nice symmetry. As the movie presents it, it's like, hey, Caesar, remember that doll Maurice gave me back when you weren't even in the room to witness it? Well, it happened. And this reciprocation is cause enough to motivate you and I think.
This is meant to help remind Caesar that not all humans are bad. It's easy to forget that, trust me.
So, how exactly did Supernova get in here and do all this without being seen? Don't most military groups have some sort of scouts or security? It's not like she's even hiding. Also, he's their leader, for chimp's sake. There's no guard on the most important primate in the camp.
It's not like he can go anywhere anyway. And didn't you suggest that there should have been guards to prevent Nova from getting in here? If there were guards here, then why would they need any to guard Caesar? Pick one.
Sorry, getting on the cheese.
Me whenever you try to be funny.
Movie again adds character with the same name from the original Apes movie in a desperate attempt to both curry nostalgic favor and confuse the hell out of anyone trying to figure out how they could actually be the same person.
Aren't these movies reboots? Haven't they made that clear since the very start? I mean, I still think it's possible you could fit the original film on the timeline since it takes place almost 2,000 years from now, but that's not officially confirmed.
Come see. Come see.
Bad Ape is the physical embodiment of the "you'd better come take a look at this" cliche.
Dude, nobody cares about the "you'd better come take a look at this" cliche. It's just nitpicking for the sake of nitpicking.
So let's go over this primate plan, shall we? First, fling poo with accuracy and timing enough to hit a guard 60 feet up at the exact right moment.
What exact right moment? What timing is required for this part of the plan?
Second, hope that the guard takes it personally enough that rather than clean it off, he comes down and opens the freaking pen to confront his attacker.
I mean, wouldn't you if intelligent apes literally threw poop at you?
Third, throw more poop, in the hopes that instead of running after the culprit, he will stand still above a pre-designated hole long enough with both legs situated apart perfectly to be pulled underground. And fourth, hope that no one hears him yell before you knock him out with your meaty monkey paws. What could go wrong?
Monkey paws. You know what this thing is for.
Again, keys or not, there's no way Caesar would have been left unguarded in a way that no one saw him unlock his own pen. This Magoo militia is about as observant as a sideline concussion spotter in an NFL game.
And again, there's no reason to guard him because there was no way for him to escape. And they didn't even know about the tunnels. So even if they somehow assumed Caesar could acquire the keys, how would he and the apes have escaped without them?
Such a sad, tragic end to this man's love affair with his Bo Peep doll. Oh, sorry, wrong Woody.
Arbitrary movie reference.
I would call out this sudden avalanche as a typical Ex Machina moment, except for one thing. It serves no purpose. Why do all the humans have to die? Caesar wasn't really in danger until he stood up to see it, and we all know the human race is headed towards their demise anyway, so Deus Ex Ineptia?
Did you miss the part when right before the humans started the avalanche, one of them pointed his gun at Caesar? They all still hate apes for starting this war.
Just like Moses, Caesar was prohibited from entering the Promised Land, mostly because of his selfish behavior during the journey. Thankfully, he'd already given the apes a few of their own 10 commandments to live by, such as ape not kill ape, apes together strong, and thou shalt not stay behind during rescue from a human military compound for personal revenge reasons, lest you receive a mortal flesh wound.
I swear, I wrote that earlier Moses sin before I heard Jeremy say this, but why is it a sin for stories to reflect each other? This is clearly meant as an homage to that Bible story, so what's the issue?
Are we supposed to believe this is from the arrow womb before the avalanche? How long has this traveling circus and his circus monkeys been looking for a place to live? I'm not saying he couldn't die from the injuries, I'm just saying it probably should have happened sooner.
I like that you made the pun with using Andy Serkis's name in the subtitles for the word circus. However, you just called these apes monkeys again. Yeah, go ahead and add those 15 sins.
Sorry to spoil the moment here, but apes don't cry, not even when they're gunning for an Academy Award.
Just like apes don't talk, have complex feelings, and just generally act like humans? Come on, Jeremy. These apes have done so many unrealistic things already in every single movie in this franchise. Why is crying where you draw the line? Like, seriously?
Are you crying? What's that? Are you crying? Am I crying? No, I'm not crying. You're crying.